Hello, welcome back to the channel. This is a channel where we give you reviews, playthroughs, unboxings. We generally like to talk a load of bollocks about tabletop gaming in general, and in this video we're going to be talking about the top 10 pirate themed board games known to humanity. And just remember, if your top 10 pirate themed board game ain't on this list, that's because A, we ain't played it, or B, we think it's complete shit. So remember, if you're new here, then please consider subscribing to this channel, leave a comment in that section down below, hit the like button, and all that YouTube bullshit. See you after this. Bollocks. So before we crack on with this list, we're going to give you a couple of honourable mentions. They would be on this list, but we haven't really played them enough or to their entirety to warrant an inclusion on this top 10. The first game is Forgotten Waters. This is a fantastic pirate-themed board game from Plaid Hat Games. This is a scenario-based game that is driven by an app. You'll be using a book in the same style as the Ryan Lockett games, like Sleeping Gods and all that sort of stuff. And the app does contain some absolutely fantastic voiceovers. It also plays up to 7 players. So if you've got a large group, then this will sort you out, yeah. But we can't put it on this list because we haven't played it to its entirety. So it'd be a little bit unfair if we stuck a game on this list that we hadn't played to death, right? Another game that deserves a mention is Treasure Island. This was released by Matago a few years ago. This is a sort of deduction game where one player will be playing Long John Silver, who's hidden his treasure somewhere, and then all the other players will be trying to find it. The only problem with this game is that if you are Long John Silver, then the game can be a little boring, and it is quite a frustrating experience trying to find a treasure. The board does look like a bit of a mess, and if you do make a mistake, then it's very hard to unpick it. So whilst Treasure Island does have some absolutely fantastic components and some novel ideas in it, we can't put it on this list because it's just a little bit not good enough. So number 10 on this list is a game that we actually didn't recommend when we reviewed it a few years ago. It's Days of Wonder's Pirates Cove. In this game, you'll be secretly choosing which island you want to go to, and each island offers a variety of different rewards. There's even a nice pub that you can go to where you can get absolutely smashed out your face. The game also features another nice touch where it's got some legendary pirate figures that you can come across and do over. Whilst this game's really simple and it's not a really good example of Days of Wonder's best efforts artistically, my kids do enjoy it. It's a bit of a chore for me to play, and that's why I dumped it at the shit end of the stick. So number 9 is a dexterity game that is made out of wood. It's called Riff Raff. In this game, you'll be placing different pirate-themed tokens on a wooden ship that has got a weight underneath. I don't know if you've seen that really shitty kids game called Don't Rock the Boat. Well, this is a similar thing, but it's made out of balsa wood, and its production values are much better. The difference with this is that every player is going to have a deck of cards with a number on it from 1 to 10. You'll be playing a card, and that will determine the turn order for putting stuff on the ship. The only thing is you can only play each card once, so once you run out of the high cards, you're going to go last. If you're left with some of the heavy goods, then you're going to make all the stuff fall off of the ship, right? This game ain't going to win any awards for complexity. It's not going to win any awards for novel mechanics, but the robust construction and the fact that you've got a pirate-themed dexterity game means that it's going to make this list, right? So number 8 on this list is an app-driven game. Really, the board is secondary to this game. You're going to use your phone as the actual ship on the board. One of the problems being is that phones have got so big these days that the squares on the board generally don't fit anything over a Nokia 3210, right? But you can load up the app, and then you'll be moving your ship around the seas. You'll see that the board is mirrored on your phone, and all the action will take place on your phone. You'll be able to load up with cannons. You'll be able to load up with goods. You'll be dropping goods off at different places, trying to avoid different hazards. Really, this game is just a board in a box with a few tokens, but it's one of the most innovative board games that we have ever played. And as long as the app's available on the App Store, we ain't never going to get rid of this one, right? So number 7 is a pick up and deliver game that my kids really enjoy because it's simple. It's called Black Fleet. In this game, you'll be doing the usual pick up and deliver fare. You'll be going to one port, you'll be picking up goods, you'll be going to another port and dropping them off. The thing about this is that all players also get to control not only Blackbeard the pirate, but you also get to control the Royal Navy that can put a spanner in the works of your opponents, right? It's a card driven game that will tell you what you can and can't do. The components are absolutely fantastic. It comes with some really, really nice metal coins. Space Cowboys, the publisher, has knocked the component quality at the park. So if you're after a very, very simple pirate themed pick up and deliver game, this one really should be your first port of call. You know what I mean? So NumberSix is a real-time pirate-themed game. It's called A Tale of Pirates. In this game, you'll be using sand timers to complete different tasks on the boat. The boat is a 3D affair that you can turn round to face north, south, east and west to fool your pea-sized brain into thinking that you are actually traversing the ocean. It's a game that reveals itself bit by bit. Shut up! So you're going to be unlocking different things through different envelopes, and the app takes control of most of the theme and the mechanics, right? It's a really well produced game. It goes for peanuts. For some bizarre reason, this is now available in the bargain bucket section. So if you can find it on the cheap, then it's definitely worth picking up. So number 5 on this list is a game that has sort of been forgotten. I don't even know if it was that well received when it was published years and years ago. It's Cartagena for the Mutiny. This is a very small 2-player game which sees you take on a role of mutineering pirates. The game's split into different phases. You'll have to prepare for the upcoming mutiny by visiting different pirates in their cabins to get information on the way that the mutiny is going to proceed. You will then have to take a side with one of the leaders of the mutiny, and then you'll be able to use your prior knowledge to affect the mutiny, and you'll have a big old scrap on the deck of the ship, right? I absolutely love this game. The theme comes through really well, and for such a small box game, it's got loads and loads packed in here. I don't know why more people ain't played this one, so if you can find a copy at the moment because it's out of print and you can get it on a cheap, then I highly recommend you pick up Cartagena for the Mutiny, right? So number 4 on this list is a game that we wish would get a second edition and be streamlined into a game that you could fit into 2 or so hours. This is what people call a sandbox game. You'll be sailing around the Caribbean, visiting different ports. You'll be deciding whether to become a merchant or a marauder. That's a funny old thing, isn't it? And you'll be uncovering different events that happen. You'll be trying to acquire a nice little bit of booty and trying to become the most famous pirate or merchant in history. One of the problems with this game is that the downtime in between turns is headache inducing. The port action takes absolutely ages. So if someone can get hold of the rights to this, I'm sure there must be a way of stripping out all the useless bullshit. But yeah, Merchants and Marauders is a highly thematic, sort of luck driven pirate themed game. If you like these sort of things, then really you should already own it already, shouldn't you? If not, why not? So number 3 on this list is a pirate-themed racing game. It's Jamaica. What you'll be doing in this game, you're playing cards from your hand. It will tell you how many spaces you can move forward, how many spaces you might have to move backwards. It will give you different types of resources like cannons, food, and all that sort of thing. You're using food to feed your crew, because if you ain't got a well-fed crew, they're going to want to jump ship, right? You're going to use cannons to fight other people, and essentially, it's the first player to get their ass around Jamaica and win the game. This game was first released in 2008, and back then was one of the best produced games ever made, and it still is. The only gripe I got with this is that some clever dick decided to make the rulebook into a treasure map, and as such it's so unwieldy. It feels like you're holding a bleeding broadsheet newspaper. They have reprinted this in a second edition. I haven't even bothered to look at that because the first edition of Jamaica is more than enough for me. So if you're after a pirate themed racing game that is quick and simple, you better go and get it, in you. Number 2 on this list is a game that was recently reprinted by Stonemaier Games, and we thought that was a pile of shit. We're talking about the original game that's got the better, more gritty theme. It's Paolo Mori's classic Libertalia. This is a role selection game. All the players will have the same characters from a deck of 30 different characters. You'll be playing a character from your hand, and then you'll arrange these characters in order of their influence. Then you'll activate all the characters one by one. You might be able to banish a character out of the game. You might be able to grab some gold. You might be able to curse other characters, right? And once you've activated all the characters, then you'll grab some booty. Some booty is good, some booty is bad, but you knew that already, didn't you? This game has got a really gritty feel to it, and all that shit was stripped out of the sterilised version that was released by Stonemaier Games. So obviously if you're desperate to play Libertalia, probably the only option you got is to buy the new one. If you can find the old one, it is infinitely better than that neutered piece of crap that was pushed out this year. Can't recommend Libertalia highly enough. It's a must-have game, even if you don't like the pirate theme, right? So there you go. What are you waiting for? We're still here for. So number one on this list is a game that's based on those MOBA video games that nobody I've spoken to has ever seems to know what the hell they are or has even played. It's Rum and Bones. I don't give a shit whether it's second tide or the first edition. This game is absolutely enormous. There's so much content for this one. There's the first edition was big enough, and then they released the second tide, and that made this game as big as a mound of elephant shit. There's even a crossover pack where you can use the first edition in the second edition, right? Essentially, in this game, you'll be taking control of a certain number of captains and the crew. The crew is this big, massive figures that will just keep moving forward, and you'll be using your captains to capture different objectives on the opponent's boats. There's also loads of special abilities that you can upgrade with coins that you can get. It's a luck-based dice fest at the end of the day, but the theme comes through so much that all of that luck-driven nonsense can be thrown out the window. The game is just so much fun to play. Add to that the amount of variety, the amount of choices that you got. It is a little bit of a pain in the ass trying to find the correct figure in the mass of captains that are in this game. But at the end of the day, that's just a minor gripe. This is without doubt the best pirate themed game that you can play today. So if you can find all of the Kickstarter bullshit that was released in this, because you probably have to sell your other kidney to get it, we definitely recommend Rum and Bones, right? So there you go, that's our top 10 pirate themed board games. Do you agree with our list? What else have we left off of this list? Being a complete retard, what else have we left off of this list? Why don't you tell us in the comments below? Hit the like button, all that bollocks. See you next Tuesday.